Did you know initially a slice of bread was used as an eraser? A slice of bread was used as an eraser by the people in history. For a matter of fact, before erasers came into use, there was no better substance to remove pencil marks than a bread.
Hey everyone. Welcome back to DSP Factory Made. If you enjoy what you're about to see, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. Let's dive in.
Long before the Europeans who came to form the New World, the inhabitants of Central and South America already had knowledge about the concept of erasers. As a result, it's as early as the 11th century and primarily was used to paint clothes and make balls. Speaking of other uses of erasers back in history, it was also used to make shoes and bottles by pouring the liquid form material used for making erasers in the soil mold and allow it to dry. Later in the 17th century, there came a French scientist, Charles de la Condamine, who first officially described a substance called caoutchouc. After his research, he sent the samples of those substances to Europe. What is caoutchouc? Caoutchouc is derived from a liquid produced under tree bark found in tropical regions. This milky liquid was called latex and is still currently in use to make erasers. It may be that, but it was actually Jean de Magellan who first suggested the use of caoutchouc as an eraser in the proceedings of the Institut de France in 1752. However, the research was not over yet, and as a result, in 1770, British scientist Joseph Priestley suggested that natural rubber be named rubber because of its ability to erase pencil marks. He also told readers of his book, A Familiar Introduction to Perspective Theory and Practice, where readers can buy a cube of about half an inch for 3 shillings. The development of the eraser was in existence until the late 19th century. The pencil and the eraser were made separately. In 1858, Hyman Lipman of Philadelphia patented a pencil with a fluted nib with an eraser attached to it. To be precise, his development can be considered the modern eraser of that time. As a result, by the early 1860s, Faber Company had manufactured pencils with erasers. In 1862, Joseph Reschendorfer of New York City applied for a patent for Lipman's design improvement and sued Faber. Meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the idea of combining a pencil with an eraser cannot be patented, stating the reason for this decision is that the combination of the pencil and the eraser does not change the function of the two. Therefore, this decision opened the way for many companies to make pencils with erasers. Here comes the added development. In 1867, J.B. Blair of Philadelphia invented a hollow eraser that can be inserted into a pencil. Precisely, it's known that earlier versions also existed. In 1872, Eagle Company made a pencil, and the eraser was inserted directly into the wooden box of the pencil. However, other manufacturing industries soon produced similar pencils, which were called penny pencils, due to their low price. The provision of pencils with erasers in the classroom was controversial at first. Besides, it's firmly considered that the ability to easily correct mistakes can make students careless. Nevertheless, pencils with erasers are still very popular. Talking about the same, nearly 90% of modern American pencils are made with the included erasers. Pencils without an eraser are more common in Europe. Now, discussing the raw material used in the making of eraser, and it's very well obvious that the important raw material required in making of eraser is rubber, whereas the rubber can be natural or synthetic. But how and from where the natural rubber is obtained? To answer the question, the natural rubber is extracted from the latex produced by the rubber tree, and it comes in many forms. Besides, the most common synthetic rubbers are derived from the chemicals styrene and butadiene. In simple words, styrene is a liquid derived from ethylbenzene. Ethylbenzene is usually made from ethylene and benzene, both of which come from petroleum. Yes, you got it right. They all are obtained from petroleum. Explaining the details, butadiene is a gas directly derived from petroleum, where butane and butene derived from petroleum. Moreover, different raw materials added to rubber include pigments that change the color of the eraser. While white can be produced with zinc oxide and titanium oxide, and iron oxide can produce a red color. Next, sulfur is added to the rubber. The benefit of using sulfur is that it can vulcanize rubber. Further, it uses heat and sulfur to make rubber more durable and heat-resistant. Besides, the common material used to make erasers is nothing but vegetable oils. Yes, vegetable oil is used in making many edible and non-edible products. The usage of vegetable oil is essential because it helps in making rubber softer and easier to mold, and pumice, a natural mineral that makes erasers more abrasive. The making of eraser. Stating facts, rubber tree plantations only exist in tropical areas with high annual rainfall, and speaking of that, Malaysia is the main producer of rubber trees. In the initial step, the thin strip tree of bark is cut about 0.04 inches deep from the rubber tree and strike it at a height within easy reach of the worker. Later, strips will be cut below the first one. Each strip reaches approximately half the circumference of the tree and slopes downward at an angle of approximately 30 degrees to allow the latex to flow into the container. Besides, only if the latex is allowed to coagulate naturally, each cut will produce about 28 grams of latex, and then the latex will stop flowing after a few hours. A chemical can be applied to the bark to prevent the latex from coagulating and allowing it to flow for several days. The collected latex is passed through a sieve to remove foreign matter. Water is added to the latex and the mixture is pumped into a large horizontal tank equipped with aluminum partitions. Add dilute acetic acid or formic acid to make the rubber coagulate into a block on the partition. As these slabs pass through a series of rollers, they're sprayed with water, and then the excess water is removed by another set of rollers. The slabs are packaged into bundles, usually weighing 225 to 250 pounds in the shape of a cube, about 2 feet on each side. The bales are next coated with clay to prevent adhesion, tied with metal tape, and then shipped to the manufacturer. Manufacturing synthetic rubber. According to the type of synthetic rubber manufactured, a variety of manufacturing processes can be used. The most common form of synthetic rubber is the styrene-butadiene rubber, which is usually made by emulsion process. Next, various chemicals from petroleum through fractional distillation. This process involves heating the oil to approximately 600 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit and passing the steam through a tall vertical tower. As the steam rises through the tower, it cools down. Chemicals with different boiling points change from gas to liquid at different points in the tower and are collected. Chemicals with very high boiling points remain liquid when the oil is heated and can be discharged from the bottom of the tower. Chemicals with very low boiling points remain in gaseous form and can be discharged from the top of the tower. The eraser is made of natural rubber or synthetic rubber. Natural rubber is made of latex collected from rubber trees. Removing water from the latex increases the rubber content to 60%. Acid is added to the liquid concentrate to produce solid pieces of dry rubber. Other chemicals are obtained through catalytic cracking. The process involves heating oil to about 850 to 900 degrees Fahrenheit under pressure in the presence of a catalyst. The catalyst causes a chemical reaction to occur. The new chemical mixture is then separated by fractional distillation. Styrene and butadiene are obtained by subjecting certain petroleum-derived chemicals to various chemical reactions. Styrene is a liquid under normal conditions, but butadiene is a gas and must be stored under pressure to keep it liquid. Pump the two liquids into a container and mix with water, soap, and catalyst. The catalyst reacts with styrene and butadiene to form synthetic rubber particles. Soap can use these particles and can be dispersed in the water in a smooth emulsion. Constant agitation keeps the rubber particles from settling out. Final step. The rubber arrives at the eraser factory and is mixed with paint, vegetable oil, humus, sulfur, and other ingredients that change the characteristics of the final product. Synthetic rubber is easier to mix because it usually comes in powder or liquid form. Natural rubber usually arrives in packages and must be crushed into powder or dissolved in a solvent before mixing. The mixture is heated to vulcanize the sulfur and make it more stable. In order to manufacture the plug to be connected to the pencil, an extrusion process is usually used. The mixture in solid form is forced through a mold to form a long cylinder. The cylinder is repeatedly cut as it appears, forming a plug. To make a flat surface that's not attached to the pencil, injection molding is usually used. The mixture in the form of a warm liquid is pressed into a mold and cooled to a solid, and then remove the plane from the mold. The plug is shipped directly to the pencil manufacturer. They're connected to the pencil by a small cylindrical metal box called a ferrule. The ferrule is made of ordinary aluminum for cheaper pencils or made of brass for more expensive pencils. The ferrule is fixed to the pencil with glue or a small metal tip. The plug is inserted into the ferrule and clamped around it. The unit can be marked with the manufacturer's name or other marks. This can be done by imprinting a mark on the eraser. It can also be done by screen printing. Move the ink roller to parent silk or other material that covers the eraser. Besides, the 3D marks can be made by embossing cut on the eraser with a sharp mold. The completed apartment is packed into cardboard boxes and shipped to the retailer. The manufacture of erasers is highly automated, producing millions of reliable products every year. Experienced eraser manufacturers have improved the technology used so that there's no need for extensive inspections. The raw materials shipped to the manufacturer are provided by companies that are known to provide substances with appropriate characteristics. If a new substance is provided or it's from a new company, the eraser manufacturer may check it to ensure that it meets all specifications. Only a small percentage of erasers need to be checked to make sure they have the proper physical properties. Flat shoes must be the correct size to fit into the box. The plug must have the correct size to fit into the ferrule. The hardness of the eraser is crucial to its working effect. Experienced inspectors can easily determine whether the eraser is too hard or too soft. That's how the erasers are made. Fascinating, right? Let us know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such informative videos. See you in the next one.